Hello everyone, Raymond here, and this is going to be my video response to Lisa Pepez, who in her live stream, YouTube live stream, she and Peggy made this really fun tag, and it was called hashtag 21 Tarot Questions. So I watched the video and I thought it was really fun, and I wanted to play along, and so here is my video response. So thank you, Lisa, first of all, for making this such a fun tag. And here we go. So the first question: what is the deck they'll have to pry out of your cold dead hands? So for me, it would be this is the Fairy Tale Tarot by Lisa Hunt. This is a Llewellyn deck published by Llewellyn. Fortunately, I didn't have to pay a whole lot of money to get this deck. This deck is now out of print, but I love this deck. And I bought this deck when it was almost, you could say, was on out of print. But I scored a copy and I paid the normal price for this deck, which was, I think, not even $25. And I just love this deck. It just is so pretty because it's borderless. I love Lisa Hunt's artwork. I think she makes really good, decks. I have quite a few decks. I have the Fantastical Creatures. I have her Shapeshifters tarot. I have the Ghost and Spirits tarot, and I love her artwork. And I love this deck in particular because each card has a fairy tale associated with it. For example, the wheel is, I think, Seven Sisters. I think I don't use this deck quite often because I'm afraid I'll wear this out, so I don't use this. Oh, and one interesting thing is that not only that there's just fairy tales, but the fairy tales are from different cultures, from around the globe, and so there are 78 fairy tales, which you can get from this deck. And I think this is Thumbelina from the Princess of Swords, and I love it. And the guidebook that comes with this deck is really detailed. There is the story for the card, then there is the interpretation, the meanings of the card, and I just love this deck. I mean, Lisa Hunt's artwork is just magnificent. And I have recently come to know that US Games will be republishing this deck. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to get another copy of this deck from US Games. So this is the Fairy Tale Tarot by Lisa Hunt. So next question: what's your guilty pleasure deck? And for me, it is the Housewives Tarot, and because, I mean, why not? I just love this deck, and I particularly use this deck on Sundays because I feel it gives me that weekend Sunday vibes, and I love this deck. So it comes in this box like so, and you do get certain recipes. Like this is Madame Marlena's mystical martini, so this is a recipe for that. And I really love this deck, and as you can see, mine is really old copy, Icebox Fortune Cake. I actually love this. Look at the cards. So these are the black backs, and I love this. They are so those 80s and 90s artwork, and it's really fun. I enjoy it. The devil. I mean, it's so fun and whimsical and quirky, and at the same time, it's a beautiful reader. It's so accurate, and I love that. I love the humor of this deck. There is humor. There is a funness, but this is not this. Many would argue and say that this is a novelty deck, but it reads beautifully. And I really love this deck. So this is my guilty pleasure deck. It's the Housewife's Tarot, a domestic divination kit with deck and instruction booklet by Paul Kepler and Jude Buffum. Love it. Okay, so next question. What's the deck you wish existed? I really love Charles Dickens' work, and I would love to see a deck that is solely based on A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I would love to see the representation of Scrooge, and the other characters, and even the spirits, the ghost of the Christmas past, ghost of the Christmas present, ghost of the Christmas future. I would love to see a deck which is based on A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. In those Tim Burton art style. So yeah, I would love that. Moving on, the next question: what deck would you give to a new reader? So I'm gonna cheat here, and I am going to mention two decks. So the first one is, any of the two would be a really good deck for a beginner. But since I started my tarot journey with this deck, and it's the Osho Zen Tarot by Ma Deva Padma, and yeah, this is the deck that I first bought. This is my first deck that I ever bought, and I love this. This is a great deck for beginners because there are keywords. The titles are the keywords, and it's really easy to understand and work with and memorize the meanings and really understand the workings of this deck. At the same time, it's really accurate. I have been reading with this deck for many years now, over a decade, and it's a clear reader. It's really accurate, and I love this deck, and I think any beginner would love this deck too, because it's a really great deck. Some would argue to say that this is kind of an oracle deck or an oracle and a tarot deck, but actually this is a tarot deck, which has a voice of an oracle deck because there are 79 cards. There's a master card also, but you could use that, or you can choose not to use the master card, which is the 79th card. But I love this deck because this is a clear reader, and any beginner would like it. So this is the Osho Zen Tarot, and the next deck is that I would recommend to a beginner is the Robin Wood Tarot by Robin Wood, and this is published by Llewellyn. So here are the backings. Comes in a little white book. I love this deck as well because it's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, you can say, because it does follow the RWS system, and it is pretty clear, as you can see, Two of Swords. But the artwork is really beautiful. It has this pagan Celtic artwork, which the energies of this deck is really great, and I love the colors, it's vibrant, it's colorful, and I think any beginner would love this deck. And it's true, it sticks true to the representation of the archetypes from the RWS system, and I think it's a great deck. Yeah, so this is the Robin Wood Tarot by Robin Wood. Okay, moving on. The next question is, what deck do you want to get along with, but it just never clicked? So for me, I guess it would be this deck. It's Angels of Atlantis Oracle cards. Receive inspiration and healing from angelic kingdoms by Stuart Pearce and illustrated by Richard Crooks. I just don't know. I do have quite several angel themed cards, but I somehow don't know much about this deck and cannot relate to it. I don't know, there's something that I have not been able to tap into. So this is the deck that I wanted to work with, but it just never clicked. Maybe, and one of the reasons I don't like this deck, I resisted this deck because, who gives the title of the deck at the backings of the cards, as you can see? So that could be one of the reasons I never got along with this deck. I don't know, it's my pet peeve. So it's the Angels of Atlantis Oracle cards that I never got to get along. So next question, what deck do you keep only for the art? What deck do you only keep for the art? And that would be the Buddha Tarot. So this is the Buddha Tarot by Robert M. Place, and I basically keep this only for the art because I like the art, but I don't read with this deck. I love the majors. I love the majors, and I love Robert M. Place's artwork. Reminds me of his other decks. I really like his art because his art has this really spirit of alchemy. It's very alchemic. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I really like his artwork, and this deck is so clear because his artwork is really clean. The lines are clean and it's a clear picture. It's not this is a Pepish deck, so but I really like this deck a lot. The book that comes with this deck, the companion book, is really a good, solid, guidebook because it has detailed explanations from, the likes of Robert M. Place, who is a great scholar of tarot. Love it. Moving on, the next question: what deck did you buy because everyone else did? So that would be the Alice Tarot. I bought the Alice Tarot back when it came out, and this is obviously the first edition um, by Valve Studios. I literally saved up for this because this was not a cheap deck. I think it was above 100 US dollars. So I had to save up for this, but I love this deck. And I do not regret getting this deck. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck, and this was so hyped. This was so hyped back then when it was in its initial release, and everyone was getting it. I know everyone was getting it, and so I had to have it too because I just loved it. And I think this is one of the most expensive decks that I have ever bought because this was $100 back then when it came out. I think 2016 or 15 when it came out. But I love this deck, and this is the only deck I think in my possession that has this gold foiling, because obviously this is from Bauer Studios, and Bauer Studios are known for their gold stamp, and I just love as you can see, the shimmer. So I got this because everyone else got this, but I do not regret it. I love it, and I do use it at times. So this is the Alice Tarot by Baba Studios, the first edition. Okay, so question number 8. What deck is over your head or just baffles you? I guess it would be, and I recently unboxed this. I'm sorry for the glare. It's the LXXX1 Querera the Magician's deck, and this is a gift given to me by my friend. This deck really baffles me, and baffles me not in a negative sense. It just is quite a heavy thing, and what I mean by that is I love the concept, and it is I think I need to study the guidebook, because I just opened the deck. I unboxed the deck. I'm really intrigued by the artwork because it's been it's not an oracle deck, and I think it's a kind of a system of its own. The artwork is really intriguing, and I am so mesmerized and baffled by the mystery and the enticing nature of this deck. As you can see, I do have the guidebook that goes along with this, and I guess I'll have to read and get to know it. But I am really baffled by the artwork, and I am sure that there are symbolism, there are hidden meanings in this deck. So this is the Magician's deck. And moving on, question number 9. What deck surprised you? Um, I'm gonna cheat here again, and I guess it's I have two decks that really surprised me, and the first one I think is because this I got it much before the other, and so the first deck that really surprised me is Ian Daniels, The Tarot of Vampires, and I love this deck. At first, I never was interested to the least to get this deck. But I saw the reviews, I read the reviews, I watched the video reviews, and I have to thank obviously Owl Moon for Racine from the Owl Moon YouTube channel. She really recommended the guidebook, and I actually since then love this deck because of the guidebook, and I have understood the meanings of the cards. I think it has given me better explanations, and it's a great deck for shadow work, and I recommend this deck I recommend this is a mass produced deck, so it is easily accessible, and it is not it wouldn't be too pricey, and this surprised me in many ways, in my understanding of the tarot, in my practice, in my readings. So I was really surprised by this deck. It's the Tarot of Vampires. The next deck that surprised me was the Mary L. So the Mary L Tarot, and this is the second edition, the borderless version. I now got the first edition as well because someone gifted to me. But I love this deck because this really surprised me when I started working with this deck. I know I had read great reviews about this deck, but it was only when I got this and I started working with this deck for personal readings, and for journaling, reflection, for spiritual work. I was really surprised and was blown by the beauty and information and the depth of this deck. So it really surprised me, and I always questioned what is it with this deck that everyone likes, and it's only when I got this and I started working with this, then I understood that why is this such a favorite with so many people. So the Mary L Tarot by Marie White is a great deck and really surprised me. And the second edition comes in silver gilding, but I edged mine, but this is wearing off. So moving on, the next question, which is question number 10. What deck doesn't really work for you, but you keep it because it's a collectible? And it is this deck. This is the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, but this is the first edition, which is our print. This is the first edition, which has this backing. This is the light faded out yellow backing, white creamy, should I say. And I keep this deck because it's a collectible, because this edition is out of print. and yeah, I just don't read with this deck. And I actually have 2 copies of this. The newer edition obviously has a different backing. I guess it has an orange color and a border, but the artwork remains the same, the cards remains the same, but the cardstock is also different. This has more sturdy and a bit stiff, whereas I have seen video reviews of this deck. The second edition has a thinner cardstock. So this is based on astrology, and in particular with the sun astrology of the sun. I don't really use this deck, but I keep it anyway, just as a collectible. So this is the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. Okay, question number 11. What deck is your favorite gilded deck? And I think it's this one, Prisma Visions. The Prisma Visions Tarot by James Eads. Yes, James R. Eads. And I love the gilding of this deck. It has beautiful gilding, and when I got this, it wasn't sticking. I mean, the cards weren't sticking, and so it was really great. I love this deck. Has the favorite gilding. Moving on to question number 12. Which deck do you love but hate the cardstock? Okay, so this is going to be really easy. I recently got the Sacred Isle Tarot by David Higgins, and I'm sorry, this is, I think, out of print, but I was gifted this deck. And when I opened it and I went through the cards, I love this deck. I really love this deck. This has some of the most beautiful artwork of all times. You see, and as you can see, it's still in order because I haven't been using this deck, because you see it's sticking. The cards do tend to stick because it's really glossy, but the cardstock, it's really bad. It's really bad. So as you can see, the cardstock is really bad. But I love this deck. I really do love this deck. I love the artwork of this deck, and this has become one of my favorites. It's so beautiful. The artwork is really beautiful. And I love that it has I don't even mind the black borders, because the whole deck is black, even the backs are black. But the cardstock is the only thing that is so upsetting, because it's really glossy, and I don't mind the gloss, but I just wish there would have been more stiff and more better quality of cardstock. So it's the Sacred Isle Tarot by David Higgins. For question number 13, what deck gives you the willies? What deck gives me the willies? I guess that would be... No, I'm not getting it. the Royal Dark Tarot by Royal. And because I don't know, because of the artwork maybe. Fair warning, there is nudity, so a warning to this. It is sensual, yes. It is. It has, I don't know, something that gives me the willies. Is, for example, this card. So it puts me in an uncomfortable situation. I don't read with this deck. It just is in my collection. But who knows? I think I might grow to like this deck later. But yes, this does give me the willies. So it's the Royal Dark Tarot by Louis Royal, I guess. Yes, Louis Royal. And it's a Los Carrier deck, so. Okay, next question. What's your favorite deck for shadow work? What's my favorite deck for shadow work? Well, it will have to be this, because as I had mentioned earlier, that this is a great deck for shadow work, and it's the Tarot of the Vampires by Ian Daniels. And this is a great deck for shadow work. These are the backings. And the reason is because of the guidebook, the companion book that comes with this. Gives you great explanation, and I believe you can really get into shadow work, and this is a great deck for shadow work. The other deck would be the Deviant Moon also, which is also a great deck for shadow work. I do own it, I do have it, but I have not taken out for this video. So a great deck for shadow work is the Tarot of Vampires by Ian Daniels. So moving on to the question number 15. What deck do you love in theory but not in practice? So it would be this deck. This is the Book of Shadows Tarot, and this is volume 1, which is the As Above deck. I now have the So Below deck as well, but I believe that this is great in theory, but I really don't know. In my practice, I have not been able to really get much with this deck. I mean, in theory, I love this deck because the set that comes with this deck is this is the As Above, and there is a deck that is called the So Below, which is for mundane readings, questions. But this is for more astral, spiritual questions, you could say. So in theory, I really like it, but in practice, as I said, like when I do the practical readings, I don't really get much out of it. It has great artwork. I really like the artwork, but I always feel that there's something that is missing. I really can't say what it is. So for me personally, this really doesn't work. And this is the As Above. I don't know about the So Below because I only recently got that So Below deck. but I have used this, and this has been with me for many years. And in my practice, I have not found it to be, you know, I don't get much out of it. So this is the As Above deck from the Book of Shadows Tarot set. So question number 17 says, or ask, what deck would you never use for yourself? I don't think I have any deck that I haven't used for myself, because one of the reasons I do get the deck is obviously to use it for myself and for others, right? However, this is one of the decks which I don't use for myself or for others. Or maybe I have used it in once or twice, maybe. It comes in this box. It is the Quantum Tarot version 2.0. This is a Los Caribbean deck, and it's by Kay Stopford and Chris Butler. And it's a Los Caribbean deck. And I may have used this deck once or twice, but I don't really use it that often, and I don't even use it for others as well. And I don't know, because I have not been able to bond with this deck, maybe, or somehow this deck resists me or something. But or maybe it's upside down. Okay, maybe I don't use reversals, but I don't know why this is upside down. It's the Six of Cups. It's the Nine of Cups. So I really don't use it, and I really don't know why. Okay, so this is the Quantum Tarot version 2.0 by Kay Stopford and Chris Butler. A deck that I don't use it for myself, nor do I use it for others. Okay, so question number 18. What deck could you not bring yourself to buy? I guess there would be a few decks that I could not bring myself to buy because maybe they were overpriced, I felt. So that one of the decks which I could not bring myself to buy was the first edition of Wild Unknown, because at that time the first edition of the Wild Unknown was a deck that I could not bring myself to buy because it went out of print, and the second edition was available, and even the mass market edition was available. But I really wanted it, but it was so overpriced that I really couldn't bring myself to buy that deck. So now I do have the second edition. I only wish for the first edition, but that's okay. I can pass that along. So question number 19, what's your favorite pip deck? And I think it is the Tarot of the Masters. That has the beautiful pips. It's the Ace of Wands, Two of Wands. Now I have got a few copies of this, and they're in order. So I don't use Marseille deck in particular. because I'm a RWS reader, and but this is one of those decks that has really beautiful pip decks. Pips are beautifully illustrated, as you can see. That's really beautiful deck. And this is a Mars Market deck, so it's easily available. I do like this. I do like the pips, although I don't read pip decks. I only read with the Marseille illustrated ones, illustrated RWS. So I feel that this is a really beautifully illustrated pip deck. It's the Tarot of the Masters, and it's a Los Caribbean deck. For question number 20, what deck slaps you with the truth? And for me, it is the original Rider-Waite Tarot deck, and this is, I think, the second deck which I bought. And I have, out of all the RWS clones or RWS decks that I have, this one in particular is really up. This deck is really up to your face, on your face, and it tells you as it is, and it does not sugarcoat. So this version of the RWS is really the deck that really slaps me with the truth when I need it. So for it's a hard hitter. So when I want the reality, the truth to be known, this deck is really the deck that I go to, because it's on your face and it will never sugarcoat things. And I actually really like this deck. Out of all the RWS clones and versions that I own, this version in particular, and this is by US Games. I guess this is by US Games. It says, I'm sorry. I don't know, it should say US Games, but it's not mentioned, I can see. Anyway, so this is really popular. This is a really popular deck. Everyone has seen this, I'm sure. So this version of the RWS is one of my favorites, and it's the really truth teller. And finally, for question number 21, what's the deck that got away, is the last question. I really don't have any deck that got away. I looked up the definition of one that got away is, it says that someone or something that you didn't treat super well or had to leave because of things outside your control. I don't have a deck that I think I gave anyone and regretted it or something like that. Because part of the reason is I'm a hoarder. I like to keep things, so I don't think I have any deck that I gave away, one that got away and I regretted it, or a deck that I missed and maybe I got it or something like that. But yes, one thing I would like to say, that I'm really blessed to have great friends who really are generous, and they do give me decks, so I do have them. But I do not regret as such with decks that do maybe get away. So that is that. Thank you, Lisa, for making this tag, and it was really fun making this video. I had fun recording this, and I had fun talking about her favorite things. Thank you.